Hey, welcome back, everyone!
Allie, why is it always 3 times?
Because one hey doesn't carry enough energy. You know this.
I do know this. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm Zara.
And I'm Allie, and I'm going to be very honest with you. Today's topic, I get messages about it constantly.
Constantly, like every single week, someone slides into the comments or the DMs and says, please, explain since and for to me. I'm losing my mind.
Losing their mind. And I get it. I genuinely get it because when I was learning, I felt the exact same way.
Same. There's something about these two words that they look simple, they feel simple, but the moment you try to use them, boom, confusion.
Total freeze.
Total freeze. So today we are going all in on this. No rushing, no shortcuts. We're going to break it down so completely that by the end, you'll wonder why it ever confused you.
That's the goal. And we're going to keep it real. Examples, conversations, little challenges.
And if you've ever deleted a sentence because you didn't know which word to use, this one's for you.
Let's get into it. Can I be honest about something?
Always?
When I first started learning English properly, I used to just avoid these words. Like if I wasn't sure, I would rewrite the whole sentence to escape the problem.
Oh my God, I did the exact same thing.
Right?
I remember once I was writing an email in English to my teacher, and I wanted to write something like, I have been studying English for a long time. Very simple sentence, very normal.
Okay, yeah, totally normal.
But in my head, I'm going, okay, wait, is it for a long time or since a long time? And I froze. I stared at the screen. I deleted the sentence. I wrote it again, deleted it again.
What did you end up writing?
I wrote, I have studied English. Full stop. No time reference at all. I just removed the difficult part entirely.
You escaped.
I escaped. But that's the thing. Escaping doesn't fix it. You'll face it again tomorrow, in the next email, in the next conversation.
Exactly. And the worst part is, since and for are so common. They come up everywhere. Work emails, casual chats, job interviews, stories.
You cannot avoid them forever.
You cannot. So let's fix it now, properly, for good. Okay, so where do we even start with this? We start with one rule, just one. And if you remember nothing else from today, remember this.
Go ahead.
Since tells you the starting point. For tells you the duration.
Say it again.
Since, starting point. For, duration. Since answers the question, when did it begin? For answers the question, how long has it been going on?
So they're both about time, but they're answering different questions.
Exactly. And that's why people mix them up, because both feel like they're talking about time. But one is about a moment, and one is about a length.
Okay, give me an example, a real one.
All right. Imagine someone asks you, how long have you lived in your city? You could answer two ways. You could say, I have lived here since 2018, or you could say, I have lived here for 7 years.
Both answers are about the same thing, how long you've lived there.
But since 2018 is pointing to a specific moment on the calendar, a starting point, the year it began.
And for 7 years is measuring the length, the amount of time that has passed.
Same fact, two different lenses.
Okay, I love that. Two different lenses. Since zooms in on the starting moment. For measures the distance.
That's a really good way to put it, actually.
I have my moments.
You know what? I want to make this even more concrete, because rules are great, but real situations are better.
Agreed.
So think about someone like Sarah. She's a young woman, works at a coffee shop. She started that job in January. Right now it's July, so 6 months have passed.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Now, someone asks her, how long have you been working here? She has two perfect options. She can say, I've worked here since January, or I've worked here for 6 months.
Since January is the starting point. It's on the calendar. It's a specific moment.
And for 6 months is the duration, the amount of time.
Both correct, both natural.
Now, here's where learners go wrong. What if Sarah says, I've worked here since 6 months?
Ooh, that one hurts a little.
It does, right? It sounds almost right, but it's wrong, because 6 months is not a point in time. It's a measurement. It's a duration, so you can't use since with it.
Since needs a specific moment, a date, a year, a specific day, a specific event.
Exactly. Since needs something you could point to on a calendar. January? Yes. 2020? Yes. Last Monday? Yes. 6 months? No. A long time? No. Those are amounts. They go with for.
So every time you're about to write since or for, stop for just 1 second and ask, is this a specific moment in time or is this an amount of time?
That one question will save you most of the time. Part 5. The mistakes people actually make.
Can we talk about real mistakes, like the actual sentences people write?
Yes, because I think seeing the wrong version helps you understand the right version better.
Okay, here's one I see all the time. I have been waiting since 2 hours.
Yeah. 2 hours, that's a measurement, a duration. So it should be for. I have been waiting for 2 hours.
And it's so easy to fix once you see it.
What about this one? I haven't eaten for this morning.
This morning is a specific point in time. This morning is something you can point to, so it needs since. I haven't eaten since this morning.
Right. And here's a tricky one. I know him since many years.
2 problems in that sentence.
2. First, many years is a duration, not a starting point, so it should be for. I have known him for many years.
And the second problem, the verb, I know him should be I have known him, present perfect.
Yes, and this is a big point. Since and for, they almost always come with the present perfect tense. Have been, has lived, have known, have worked.
Because we're talking about something that started in the past and is still true right now. That's exactly what present perfect is for.
Perfectly said.
Was that a pun?
Completely unintentional.
Okay, we need to test everyone right now. Are you ready, listeners?
Pause the video, think about your answer, no skipping ahead.
Here we go. Sentence 1. I have been learning English blank 3 years. Since or for?
For, 3 years is a duration, an amount of time, for 3 years.
Sentence 2. She has been married blank last summer. Since or for? Since. Last summer is a specific point in time, a moment on the calendar. Since last summer.
Sentence 3. They haven't spoken to each other blank a long time, since or for. For, a long time is a measurement of duration, for a long time.
Last one. He has worked at the hospital blank he graduated. Since or for? Since. Since he graduated is a full clause, but it still points to a specific starting moment, the moment he graduated.
How did you do? If you got all 4, honestly, you're already getting it. Your brain is starting to feel the difference.
And if you got some wrong, that's completely fine. Keep going. This takes repetition, not perfection.
You know, there's this type of person. Everyone has someone like this in their life who has had the exact same routine for decades, like without fail.
Oh, absolutely. My neighbor is like that. Same walk every morning, same time.
Exactly that kind of person. I think about my uncle. Let's call him Uncle Tariq. Every single morning, without exception, he wakes up, makes tea, sits down with the newspaper. Has done this his whole adult life.
That's beautiful, actually. There's something very comforting about that kind of consistency.
There is. And someone once asked him, how long have you been doing this? And he said, I have been reading the newspaper every morning since I was 20 years old.
Since he was 20. That is such a clear starting point. Age 20, a moment in his life.
And now he's 60, so that's 40 years. And you could equally say he has been doing this for 40 years.
For 40 years, the duration, the full stretch of time.
Both sentences are about the same habit, but one anchors you to where it began. The other shows you just how long it's been going.
And honestly, when you hear since he was 20, you feel something different than when you hear for 40 years, right?
You do. Since he was 20 takes you back to a moment. For 40 years hits you with the weight of all that time.
That's the emotional difference between these two words. And I think when you feel that difference, not just understand it logically, but actually feel it, that's when you stop making mistakes.
That's exactly it. Like, she has changed a lot since she moved to London.
Exactly. Since she moved to London, that's a full clause. Subject, she, verb, moved. And since is sitting right before it.
And it still works because it's still giving you a starting point, the moment she moved to London.
Now, can for do the same thing? Can I say she has changed a lot for she moved to London?
No, that sounds completely broken.
Completely broken. For cannot take a clause. For needs a noun phrase. For 3 days, for a long time, for many years. Always a measurement.
So this is one of the clearest differences. If you have a full clause after the word, subject plus verb, you need since, not for.
More examples. He has been different since he came back from that trip. They've been close since they met at university. I feel lighter since we had that conversation.
Since we had that conversation. A clause pointing to a moment. And all of those feel completely natural, right?
Completely natural, and none of them would work with for.
So, since is flexible. Date, year, specific moment, or full clause. For is always an amount of time. Okay, I want to do something. Let's just have a real conversation, like a normal one, and notice how naturally since and for come up.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Let's say you just got back from a trip. Where did you go?
I went to Istanbul.
How long were you there?
I was there for 9 days.
9 days. Did you miss anything while you were away?
Oh, completely disconnected. I hadn't checked my phone properly for over a week. It was amazing.
When did you get back?
I've been back since Monday morning. Still a little jet-lagged, honestly.
Since Monday morning. So just a few days then. Have you recovered at all?
I've been sleeping better since yesterday, actually.
Okay. Listeners, did you catch that? That whole conversation, completely natural. Nobody was thinking about grammar, but since and for were all over it. For 9 days, for over a week, since Monday morning, since yesterday. Every single one. Correct. Every single one. Natural. Because once you understand the logic, the words start to come automatically.
You stop translating in your head and you just speak.
That's the goal.
What do you mean?
Like, I was thinking about two friends. Imagine two girls who were absolutely inseparable growing up, did everything together. And then after school, life pulled them in completely different directions. Different universities, different cities, eventually different countries.
It happens. That kind of drift is really common.
And they lost touch. Not dramatically, no fight, no falling out, just life. And years went by. They hadn't spoken for almost 8 years.
8 years is a long time. A lot changes in 8 years.
A lot changes. And then, completely out of nowhere, one of them finds the other on social media, sends a message, a simple one. Hey, I think about you sometimes. How are you?
And?
And the other one replies, and they end up talking for hours. And now they speak every single day, like those 8 years were just a pause.
Honestly, that's really moving.
It is. And now think about how you describe that story. You'd say they hadn't spoken for almost 8 years, but since they reconnected, they've spoken every single day.
For almost 8 years, the weight of all that silence, all that lost time.
And since they reconnected, the specific moment things changed, the moment the message was sent.
And you feel it, don't you? For carries the heaviness. Since carries the turning point.
Exactly. These aren't just grammar words. They carry real feeling. And when you understand that, you don't just use them correctly. You use them beautifully.
Part 11. Key words to remember. Practical, like giving someone a toolkit. All right, let's get really practical for a moment, because I want to give you a mental checklist you can use anytime you're not sure.
Yes, concrete clues. I love this.
Okay, so when you see a specific year, like 2015, 2020, 2023, that's a point in time. That goes with since.
When you see a day of the week, Monday, Thursday, that's a point in time. Since.
When you see last week, last month, last year, this morning, yesterday, all points in time. Since.
When you see a specific event, since the wedding, since the accident, since we first met, those are all moments. Since.
Now flip it. When you see a number followed by days, weeks, months, or years, 3 days, 6 months, 2 years, that's a duration. For.
When you see a long time, a while, ages, forever, most of my life, all durations. For.
And here's the simplest test of all. Can you answer the question, how long, with what comes after the word? If yes, for. Can you answer, when did it start? If yes, since.
How long? For. When did it start? Since.
That's your cheat code. Carry it with you. Part 12. Listener Challenge Round 2. Faster pace. Listeners should be getting quicker now.
Round 2. Let's see if you've leveled up. Since or for. Fast answers.
Go for it.
My brother has lived abroad 5 years.
For. 5 years is a duration.
I haven't seen her the graduation party.
Since, the graduation party is a specific event, a starting point.
We've known each other, we were kids. Since we were kids is a clause, pointing to when it all began.
It has been raining hours. For, hours is a duration.
And the tricky one, she hasn't smiled a very long time. For, a very long time sounds big and serious, but it's still a measurement of duration, not a specific moment. For a very long time.
If you got all 5 this round, you are genuinely getting it. Your brain is making the connection.
And if you stumbled on one or two, go back, listen to the rules again, then come back and try. It will click. Part 13, the present perfect connection.
I want to talk about something that I think makes sense in for even easier to use once you understand it.
What's that?
The tense they go with, because there's a pattern.
The present perfect.
The present perfect. Have been, has lived, have known, have worked, have felt.
And why does present perfect fit so naturally with since and for?
Because present perfect is the tense we use when something started in the past and is still connected to right now. It's not finished, it's still going.
I have lived here since 2015. I started in 2015, and right now, today, I still live here.
I have known her for 10 years. I started knowing her 10 years ago, and right now, she's still in my life.
The action bridges the past and the present, and that's exactly why since and for feel at home with present perfect.
So when you're writing a sentence with since or for, and you're describing something still happening, reach for present perfect, have or has, plus the past participle.
Have been, have lived, has worked, have known, has felt.
If you catch yourself writing, I know him since, or she lives here for, fix the verb. It should be, I have known and she has lived.
Small correction, massive improvement. Can I ask you something? Do you think it's possible to love something so much that you do it every day for 50 years?
50 years. That's a commitment.
It is. But there are people like that. I was reading about a baker, a man named Hassan. He has this tiny bakery in a small town, nothing fancy, just flour, water, heat, and hands.
And he's been doing it for 50 years?
More than 50. People in that town say they cannot remember a morning without the smell of his bread. He has been baking since before most of them were born.
Since before they were born. That's not just a starting point, that's a legacy.
It is. And what's beautiful is he still comes in every day, before sunrise. Since sunrise, actually. Every morning since sunrise, that bakery is open.
Since sunrise, every single day for over 50 years.
Someone asked him once, "Do you ever get tired of it?" And he said, "I have loved this work since the first day I touched flour. I have never stopped loving it."
Since the first day he touched flour. That's his starting point. And 50 years later, still going.
That sentence, "I have loved this work since the first day," it's present perfect. It started in the past, it's still true now, and since points to the exact moment it began.
You know what I love about examples like that? The grammar is there, clear, correct, but you're not thinking about grammar. You're thinking about Hassan, about the bread, about what it means to love something for that long.
And that's how language is supposed to work. It disappears and lets the meaning through.
Can we talk about some questions that come up a lot? Because I think some learners have very specific confusions that we haven't fully addressed.
Absolutely. What's the first one?
Okay, people always ask, can I use since with the simple past? Like, I went to the gym since Monday. Is that okay?
No. And this is important. In sentences like that, where you're describing something ongoing, you need present perfect. I have been going to the gym since Monday. The simple past cuts the connection to the present. Present perfect keeps it alive.
Good. What about for with the simple past?
For can work with simple past, but it means the action is finished. I lived in London for 3 years. Past tense means I don't live there anymore. I have lived in London for 3 years. Present perfect means I still live there.
So the tense changes the meaning, not just the grammar.
Exactly. I worked at that company for 5 years. Finished. Done. I have worked at that company for 5 years, still working there.
That's such a useful distinction. Okay, one more. Can since mean because?
Yes, and this trips people up. In formal writing and sometimes in speech, since can mean because. Like, since you're already here, let's get started.
Since you're already here,
That's not about time at all. That means because you're already here.
Right. But in everyday English learning, especially for intermediate learners, the time meaning is the one you'll use most. Just know that since as because exists.
Context will always tell you which one is which. Okay, let's put everything together now, because I think you're ready to see how all of this works at once. Let's do it.
I want you to think about something that has been part of your life for a long time. Anything. A hobby, a habit, a friendship, a home. Something that started at a specific point and is still part of your life today.
Got one.
Now, can you describe it using since and for?
Okay, I have been drinking tea every morning since I was about 12 years old, and I've been doing it for honestly over 15 years now.
Perfect. 2 sentences, both accurate. One uses since, pointing to a starting moment, age 12. One uses for, measuring the duration, 15 years.
And they both feel completely natural.
Because they are. And that's the point. These 2 words aren't enemies. They're just different tools for describing the same thing from different angles.
Since gives you the anchor point, for gives you the scale.
Use whichever one fits what you're trying to express. Sometimes you want to anchor your listener in a moment. Sometimes you want them to feel the weight of the time. Choose accordingly.
Okay, let's land this.
Since, starting point, used with specific dates, years, days, moments, events, or full clauses. It answers the question, when did this begin?
For, duration, used with amounts of time, numbers of days, weeks, months, years, or general lengths, like a long time, a while. It answers, how long has this been going on?
Both are used most naturally with the present perfect tense when describing something that started in the past and is still true now.
Your quick test. Is this a specific moment in time? Since. Is this an amount of time? For.
And the more you practice, the more you read, the more you listen, the more you write, the more automatic this becomes.
You won't be counting rules. You'll just feel which one is right.
That's fluency. Not knowing all the rules, feeling the language.
Before we finish, I want to say something directly to you.
Go ahead.
If you've been learning English for a while and still feel confused sometimes, that's not failure. That's just the process. Language takes time. It takes repetition. It takes making mistakes and coming back and trying again.
You have been working at this since the day you decided to learn. Think about that. Since that decision, every lesson, every podcast, every conversation has been building something.
And for however long you've been at it, that is not time wasted. That is time invested.
So keep going. You're closer than you think.
Okay, that's a wrap on today's episode. If this helped you, genuinely, share it with one person who's also learning English.
Leave us a comment and tell us which part clicked for you, which story stuck in your head.
And go use since and for today. In a message, in your journal, in a conversation. Use them on purpose.
Practice is how rules become instinct. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone.
Bye.